You want to do the intro, or you want me to do it?
Are we even doing an intro, or are we just like talking about it?
I mean, I guess we just talk about it, yeah.
Right?
This is basically the beginning of how it starts now,
Yeah.
I guess.
So, yeah. How about that earthquake?
It's so
just
wow.
Okay, so today is what? August 20th?
Yes.
There is not only right now in LA a storm.
Hurricane.
Yeah, like pretty much close to hurricane level storm.
Or
and
tropical storm.
Yeah, tropical storm.
That's what they're calling it, yeah.
And there was also an earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
The storm itself, I haven't really noticed it really bothering me or anything. It's just rain. It feels like Bay Area rain. The earthquake itself, I did not feel. I was asleep. I was napping, and Jumba jumped off the bed with me, and I assumed that was. And then my phone notified me there was an earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
But
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, in the Bay Area, no storms, clear skies, maybe a little fairly cloudy, but
hot.
Yeah, really hot. I know.
Yeah, right now here it's like humid.
It's pretty humid, but it feels like a comfortable humid for me.
Ew.
It's like when you're in Florida, Alex.
That's not comfortable. That's hot. That's what it feels like in my apartment right now.
It feels like a nice day in the Philippines. It's like that kind of level.
I've never
like
been
a not normal day.
But
imagine.
But
feels like Miami.
he's never been in the Philippines.
Nope.
I've never been in the Philippines.
Right. I'm just explaining for people who listen to the podcast, though.
Yes.
Just you two listening to the podcast, right?
Of course. It's always just us.
Oh.
By the way, the other person that you're hearing is Claire.
Hello.
My fiance.
Hi.
Oh yeah, David, you didn't introduce her.
I know, it's fine.
First time we see
it's because
Claire.
it's because I'm always in the background, like over here and like this corner. That's why I don't need an introduction, because I'm always here.
Yeah, so today we're gonna be reviewing, so we're kind of late on it, but that's more so just scheduling. It took a while, but we're reviewing both Barbie and Oppenheimer.
So welcome to
Barbenheimer.
I say Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer? Is it Barbenheimer or Barbieheimer?
It's Barbenheimer.
I think Barbenheimer sounds better.
Okay, Barbenheimer. Yeah, so we're going to be reviewing both of those movies today. Claire will only be reviewing with us Barbie because that's the only one she saw.
Mm-hmm. I work in a hospital. It's very hard to get time to watch movies. So Barbie ended up winning out, but I heard Oppenheimer was really good.
Should we also mention we're changing the name?
Yes, we are.
Oh, this is a new announcement for me. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're changing. I did not tell.
No. Keep it secret.
I know.
I wanted it to be a surprise.
As a surprise it is.
Yeah, so we're changing the name more so because some things have happened. As you can see, it's mostly just me, Alex, and I. Paul's been pretty busy for the past year or so. So for us, we just felt like since it's not three buds all the time, we should change the name. Yeah. So we decided to change the name. We brought this up at least a month or two ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and Alex came up with the name in the end. We did
brainstorming.
We did look through a couple of names though that ChatGPT had brought up just to see if those sounded good or not. Yeah,
I didn't like them.
I was fine with them.
I was against. I was like, no.
What were some of those names?
I don't remember. I would have to look again.
It's something about Flicks was part of the name, and I was like,
it kept generating the same names.
Yeah, just like different variations.
Yeah. But yeah, Alex, if you want to make the announcement about it.
Yeah, so our new name is B-Roll Thoughts.
Ooh.
Yeah, all right. Kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit.
B-roll thoughts.
It's also because we had a lot of discussions with B-rolls when we used to edit the videos a lot.
Yes. Oh my
god. And David always says we're giving our thoughts on the movie. So I was like, well, I'm going to incorporate thoughts into it. And I like B-roll.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's not
ChatGPT.
But also it opens it up for us a little bit more to have guests and have more people show up and not expecting, just Alex and I all the time, or
That's exciting.
Yeah. So we're gonna probably change all the socials. Yeah.
Yeah, our
just
website.
Want to make that quick announcement.
Yeah, our website's gonna be brollthoughts.com.
Does this mean new logo?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, new logo.
Yeah. I will message the person that makes our logos.
Our logo designer.
I have a second person too.
Who?
Oh wait, no, she doesn't really do design, huh?
Dude, you had a second one all along.
I wish.
You're holding out, buddy.
But yeah, I guess now that that's out of the way, should we start with the review? Claire's busy. We should probably start with the review so that you can get her notes done.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, let's not make this an hour-long podcast.
Let me get the mic. See if I can bring it up close. No, it's not long enough. The wire is too. The wire's long enough. Okay, cool.
Does all this help with your audio editing?
No, it makes it worse.
All right. Barbie and Ken are having the time of their lives in the colorful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living among humans. Claire, would you want to start this off with what you enjoyed with the movie? No spoilers.
Not yet.
Oh. What's up?
What? No spoilers yet is what I'm saying.
Okay. For context, I, like most girls, grew up loving Barbie. And I was very surprised when I heard that this movie was coming out, because I was like, what kind of movie are they going to make? They already made, like, I forget how many, but there's like 20, 40, like, Barbie cartoon movies. There's a bunch of, like, TV shows and all that. There's a YouTube channel. Like, what else is there? What else are they going to add to it? So I guess, like, in broad strokes, I love how fun it is. I love how, like, bright and energetic it is. But I also love that there's, like, stuff underneath the surface. It's not just, like, your, like, surface level checking out completely of the movie, or checking out from, like, whatever's going on with the rest of the world. It actually, like, is really grounded, and it's really, like, what was it? It, like, has a lot of substance to it. So I really enjoy movies like that, where it's, like, it's fun. I have, like, like, I'm laughing and enjoying myself, but I also like having connections to, like, what's going on in real life. And I think that resonated a lot with me.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alex, you want to go next?
Yeah, no, that was well put. Yeah, I liked how the movie did have an underlying message. I know the plot itself was lacking a little bit of continuity, but it was just really fun overall and just really funny. David?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the movie was really fun. Like Claire was saying, it's really colorful. It's a lot of pink. Apparently, during production, they used up so much pink paint that the material to make the color pink was, like, low worldwide. Like
Jesus.
it's
a lot of pink.
Yeah, they used a lot of pink. I also like the underlying meanings. I also what I noticed was, they actually went out and tried to make a good movie in the sense of plot and everything. And I'm not comparing this in a bad way. It's more so like, for example, the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie, right? But story-wise, you don't really expect anything out of that.
No, and I mean, from Barbie the movie, you can't really expect a good plot, so to speak. It just, all you can expect is just to have fun in it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they got a good plot.
You know what? The plot was better than expected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that I was very surprised when, like, they first announced the Barbie movie, and I saw Greta Gerwig's name on it, because so I started enjoying Greta Gerwig stuff after watching Little Women, and then hearing so much about her and all that kind of stuff. I was very surprised to hear, like, Greta Gerwig and Barbie, because I'm just like, wait, isn't, like, Greta Gerwig supposed to be, like, like, feminist movies and all that kind of stuff? And then, like, at the time, like, nothing was announced of, like, what Barbie was going to be about and all of that. And like, when you typically think of Barbie, you think of, like, blonde, like, that stereotype.
Plastic.
Exactly.
Well, when I think of Barbie, I think of Toy Story.
Oh, so like the one who's like commenting
2?
On like the revolutionary and all that.
Yeah.
But it's like even before that was like the only exception, at least at that time, of Barbie being like anything more than like a girl's toy. And it's like, I think with a lot of girl things, and I guess this applies to spoiler stuff, but non-spoiler stuff too. A lot of girl things are seen as less than. So it's like, oh, I don't like that. That's the girl version. Or like even just like, the term like girl push-ups, as if like they're any less than or something like that. So it's like, I don't know. Like I was kind of worried when I saw like Greta Gerwig and Barbie, and I was just like, wait a second, like how's this gonna go exactly?
And look at the movie now; it's made over like $1 billion.
Wow!
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's surpassed like The Dark Knight, and it also surpassed like Aquaman.
Dang.
In box office, yeah,
that's pretty good.
I also another thing I guess I want to mention was Margot Robbie, and Ryan Gosling I thought were really great in the movie.
Perfect
I liked
match.
all the other Barbies and Kens too.
That was great.
Your boy Simu Liu.
Yes, Simu Liu.
Yeah, dude, that was so great. And him and Ryan Gosling's just dynamic.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah.
There was a story about how, and this is like something that I saw like floating around social media. I'd have to fact check this, but apparently the rivalry behind like Simu Liu's Ken and Ryan Gosling's Ken came from the fact that it's like the crew or the directors or producers, whatever, someone found out that Simu Liu can do a backflip, and they wanted Ryan Gosling to do a backflip, and he was like, oh, I can't. And then Simu Liu was like, well, and then he does backflip, and then they're just like, oh, amazing. And then Ryan was just like kind of stewing over that for a while, so that kind of like led to all of the Ken competitiveness.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Don't quote me on that. Fact check yourselves. Whoever's listening, fact check.
Yeah, we don't really fact check here.
I mean, we try our best.
David tries his best. I don't try.
What else can we mention in here with non-spoilers?
Michael Cera's in it.
Michael Cera.
Like,
is it?
Dude.
Oh yeah, Michael
Alan.
Cera. Yeah.
That was a win. I was not expecting that.
So happy with Alan. David shushed me in the theater because of how excited I was about Alan.
So here's the thing. The movie, Claire kept cheering like out loud.
Yeah.
So the first couple times it happened, I was like, oh, whatever. But then she kept cheering, and I was like, Claire, like, people are trying to watch the movie, and it's really quiet when she cheers.
But
like Alan will show up, and she's like, Alan!
Right?
Like, Claire, calm down.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Did you watch it with Victoria or no?
No, I just watched with Nathan and our friend. I got it on.
You disappeared, Alex.
I disappeared. I'm here.
Oh, you're back.
The camera. No, I watched it in Houston with Nathan. And
yeah,
friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed Barbie. Do you want to rank it now, or like rate it now, or do you want to
rate it now while still in the non-spoilers? I would give it a 9. It was really fun. It was funny. I enjoyed it. I would even watch it again and even buy it.
Honestly, it's a great movie. I'd probably also give it a 9 or a 9.5.
Nice.
It was really enjoyable. Like I think going into it, I didn't know what to expect.
Exactly.
Right?
And I was pleasantly surprised by what I...
Because the trailers don't really tell you much.
Which I like. That's great.
Yeah.
I will give context for this. My scales are for like rating stuff is usually like on the higher side when I really enjoy something.
Same.
So I would put this 9.75. I do acknowledge that it was a 10 when we came out of the theater. It was a 10. But I think that as time has passed, it's like the hype has kind of like died down. So I'm just like, okay, it's a really solid movie, and it's one that resonates really closely with me. So that's why I consider it to be like pretty high up there. But it's like, I feel like I enjoyed it too much to give it just a 9. But it's like again, my scale is like completely skewed. It's completely different from your guys'.
It's okay. David's the hardest one.
Hey, I gave it a 9.5, man.
I know. I'm saying, well, historically speaking.
I think the only thing for me, if I had to critique anything, was like what you had mentioned was some of the like how they went from Barbie Land to the real world.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of it was like a weird transition.
How
you get there. It's like that. It's a thing where you can't think too hard on the movie, like in that sense.
So it's like the reason why they had like transitions like that. With two things. For Barbie Land itself and for all of the like Barbie transitions, the reason why it like looks like that is because like Barbie came out in like what I don't even remember, but it's like it came out like I want to say like 50s era.
Yeah,
60s?
No, 60s, I think.
60s, yeah. So it's like Greta Gerwig wanted to have it feel like very much old Hollywood, which is like very picture perfect, and it's like, it's like you look at it's like when you go to like Disneyland and you can tell like this is a painted set is the thing. So same thing there, where it's like there's not that much CGI, it's all like painted sets. And just like they would in old Hollywood sound stages. And then also those transitions are also similar to how they would do transitions back then, because like that's all you can do. The second thing about those that I think that this was a nod to is when you see marketing for Barbie the toy, usually they have them set up in a scene. Like when you look at the back of the box, that's the kind of like setting you see astronaut Barbie like on the rocket, you see like camper Barbie next to the camper van and all that.
No, like that I understand. I think it's more so this transition from like we're at the camper now, and now we're on the speedboat, and now we're on. It's like where did you guys start off?
There's a
like how did you get here?
There's a fun there's a fun film theory. Shout out to the film theorists if anyone watches or who listens to this podcast. Yeah, but they actually made a film theory talking about like based off of these sorts of modes of transportation, if you track it back from Venice, you can actually find the real world location of Barbie Land. And I'm not going to spoil their video, but basically there is like a real world location for Barbie Land. So it seems like really random.
We should go to Venice.
Mm-hmm. We should not go.
Why not?
Venice is not fun.
No? I've never been.
I don't like it.
I am an expat from the Bay. We should go to Venice. Alex, you should come down, and then Claire takes us both to Venice.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm working. How unfortunate. Can't. I'm working on something.
I guess you and I are going to have to go to Venice.
I know.
You're going to have to bring your own rollerblades.
I actually have some.
Oh, I don't have any rollerblades.
I don't know how to rollerblade, but I have them.
I don't have. I mean, yeah, if you want, we could go, Alex. When you come down to LA, we check out Venice.
Sure.
I guess we should quickly touch on spoilers for a quick minute.
Yeah, we can transition to spoilers now.
Yeah.
So spoiler warning: if you haven't seen, go watch it. Turn it off.
Yeah.
There you go.
First thing I wanted to mention, I guess at least for me, I feel kind of bad for the Kens.
Dude.
Like I understand what they did was wrong.
Yeah.
I totally understand. But at the same time, I also understand why they decided to do what they did. Not that I agree with it.
I mean, it was hilarious. I was not expecting that scene, that turn of events. I was like, oh, this is hilarious.
Because basically,
how would this happen?
So basically, I guess we were trying to explain to people that want to hear spoilers. Ryan Gosling's Ken, when he shows up to the real world, he feels like he's respected.
Yeah. Because
people ask him questions and ask him for directions. And he somehow ends up learning about patriarchy.
Yeah, because in Barbie Land, he never got the time of day from typical Barbie. And all he's ever wanted.
Yeah. And so he decides, and well, also he believes patriarchy has to do with horses.
Yeah.
And so he decides to bring patriarchy and everything back to Barbie Land. And he essentially takes over Barbie Land. What do you call it again? Because I know he called the house.
Kendom?
Oh yeah, the Kendom.
Kendom. Oh, dude.
Because I remember he calls he takes over Barbie's house and calls it the Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Yeah, that was so good. I was like, why? But okay.
Yeah,
that's so random.
Yeah, and I love his favorite song.
And okay, if you noticed how when was America Ferrera, her daughter, were traveling back to the real world, that's his favorite song was playing then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was it? I didn't notice that.
And I was like, they were playing it. Yeah.
But it was sad too, because it's like they were listening to the song that Barbie and America Ferrera's character, I remember America Ferrera's character's name.
Yeah.
But like they were trying to listen to that song, and then suddenly like the radio stations, like, you know, because it's being taken over by Kens, starts playing the Matchbox 20, right?
Matchbox 20.
Yeah, the Matchbox 20 song. And like totally agree with the fact that like there is no villain in this movie is the thing. So like when I say this, I mean it in a very nuanced way. The way that the Kens took everything from the Barbies is something that I feel like a lot of people, a lot of little girls honestly like experience. Like I tried to explain this to David, but like when I was growing up, like I said, I really loved Barbie, but I also grew up as kind of like the only girl in like my cousins my age. And the thing is that like because I was the only girl, I always had to like prove that I could hang out with the boys, which meant that I couldn't like pink too much. I couldn't enjoy girly things. Otherwise, I was just like, oh, you're just like a little girl. You can't hang out with us. And it's like, well, how am I going to have friends then? So, you know, it's kind of like sad when people like, you know, judge you so much for liking those girly things, and suddenly like liking those girly things make you less than. It's like the same thing like when people like, I think like in the 2010s, you know, like there was a stereotype where it's like, oh, if you admit that you like Taylor Swift, then there's like, you know, it's like,
yeah,
you're less than or something because she's a girly girl. But yeah, that kind of like
Taylor Swift.
that whole exactly, like there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like back then like you had to like I remember I liked Taylor Swift too, but I kept it under wraps.
Macho.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, Taylor Swift, I don't know, she's just like another pop girly, like I don't really like her. Like I would rather listen to like, I don't know, like I would start like saying like these like old artists like, oh, I love the Beatles, so that I could like show that, oh, like I'm more than just like a girl who likes pop music.
Yeah, you have to really downplay it.
Even ironically, though, the Beatles started off as like a pop boy band for girls.
That's true.
But yeah, but you know, that idea of like, because of your girliness being considered the less than, like your you have that taken away from you. So it's like, she has her house taken away from her. She has her power taken away from her. Friends taken away from her. And even if it's just like a small thing, it's like that song is now taken away from her. So that's the reason why like I got like worked up. And again, no sides here. I think that the Kens were also victims to the patriarchy. There's a lot of like people saying like,
I think you mean the matriarch.
No. I mean like they fell subject to both. They fell subject to like the Barbies, like not taking into consideration for them. So I would call that lack of empathy.
That reminds me of that moment where they're like, where do all the Kens go?
Right. And they're like, I don't know.
But it's like, so the Kens suffered from the lack of empathy.
Yeah.
So then they turn to something, the patriarchy, toxic masculinity, thinking that they're going to find validation from that point.
Yeah.
But they all have things taken away from them because of the patriarchy, because of toxic masculinity. You're not allowed to like the things that you just like. You have to act a certain way to keep up this facade, and you have to treat people badly too. So there was like a post that I saw on Tumblr where someone was talking about the way that the Kens adopted patriarchy is the way that you as a little girl see like that little sweet boy that you were friends with you like see them like growing up and suddenly they like get into they start reading stuff online or they start hanging out with the wrong people and suddenly like now they're someone who's just like saying like
alpha male.
Yeah, like women belong in the kitchen and like why are you working out and blah 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 blah. It's like it's not their fault. It's just that like when you're looking for a place to belong, where you're looking for validation, you will go to any place necessary to find that and you will do whatever it takes to adopt to that. So yeah, Kens are not at fault for that. They're just another victim.
Also, I remember after the movie, Claire had asked me if those lyrics were the actual lyrics of the song.
Mm-hmm.
They are. But also, I think it should be noted because I looked into it. I was like, oh, they are the lyrics because it's kind of toxic if you listen to the lyrics.
Yeah, I
don't like it's really listen to the lyrics. It's literally I want to push you around. Well, I want if I want to push you around.
No, it's like I want to push you around. Well, I will. Well, I will. I want to push you down. Well, I will. Well, I will. Yeah, so
I wanted to, and then it's like I want to take you for granted.
Yeah.
So apparently, the lyrics itself is based on the lead singer who wrote the song.
Yeah.
Is based on a toxic ex-girlfriend that he had. So it's from the perspective of the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
So even like taking that into context, it's not like male bad, female good. It's like toxic bad.
Yeah.
And like every gender is affected by it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I was laughing when they played that song because when they had all the Kens. At the beach.
Oh, wait a second!
Barbie.
Yeah.
This was something that I was explaining to David that I think many girls have experienced, where you are caught in that uncomfortable situation of a guy wanting to like play you a song on guitar or show you a video game or show you like a movie that you have no interest in. And the thing is, it's like, that's not to say like, oh, like the girl's the bad guy because like we're not showing interest in the things. It's just like, it's the guy not taking into consideration, oh, she might not be into this thing as much as I am. And then like, as a girl, you have to, because not only like are you raised to not raise your voice and to be polite and all of that, but because there is a danger to it as well, without getting too dark, but kind of going in that direction. You kind of just have to sit there and be like, great. Like I've been in that, or it's like, it's a situation that I remember being in college where it's like, if I was with a guy and then I did not want to continue the conversation, I felt like I had to continue the conversation because I don't want to upset him and have like bad things happen after that. So it's like, there's always this like constant like calculation that you're going through your head, or like you're hyper aware of things. So it's like when people say like, oh, like why are you so paranoid, why are you all this, because all this stuff happened. It's a thing. And so it's like when they were like, when they showed the title card saying 4 hours later, like, oh my god, I know this so badly.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. We don't know anything like that because most of us are like self-centered too.
That's true.
But the thing is like, that's how people are typically raised, though, is the thing. Like, I think that so I didn't grow up with any brothers. Like, all the guys that I grew up with were cousins of mine. But, like, so maybe you guys can talk about this. But for a girl, I remember when I literally, like, when I was 6 or 7, my parents would teach me, like, how to defend myself against, like, strangers, basically. They said, like, if someone, like, grabs you, you do everything you can to break away. Here are where the balls are, you kick them there. Or it's like, when I asked them, like, oh, I thought I'm not supposed to be violent. And he said, no, you have to be. To have to teach that to a 6-year-old girl is really scary. But I don't know, like, did your parents have to teach you stuff like that for a guy?
I mean, my parents put me into martial arts, so to a degree, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I also did martial arts, but I think that was more of me wanting to do that.
But my parents kind of put me into it.
So I was a fat kid, and my parents would leave me alone in like the supermarkets, especially there's like where demos you can play games on. they would just leave me there and just go shopping. And my dad would always joke about, no one's going to kidnap me because no one's going to want to carry me or, drag me because I'm obese.
Oh no, my parents were like, no, you're literally the first target. You're a small, tiny girl, and like they're easily going to come after you.
Complete opposite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing with guys, we're raised to be masculine, and just knowing that we don't have to worry about defending ourselves too much.
But what I really appreciate about this movie is that, like, I hope to have kids someday, hopefully with you.
We are engaged.
But
you're like giving yourself an out or something.
No, I'm not. I just like it's weird for me to talk about like our future children. Like I know we talk about future children. It's weird to talk about our future children on your podcast
publicly.
You can choose to cut this out or not. But in any case, I feel like for any little boy that like I run into, I think like this movie has solidified for me like this little boy is coming into a world where they are expected to act a certain way, where they're expected to not really like react too much emotionally, where they have to be the strong one all the time. They have to assert dominance because they are the man of the household or something like that. And then also to every little girl that I meet, I'm just like, you are coming into a world where you are going to be judged, and you're always going to be too much. You're always going to be too little. You're always going to be this. You're going to be that, and blah, blah, blah. And take into a fact that like, this is just the world that you're coming into. And so people should have empathy for that. That's really what is at the heart of this movie, is just empathy for the other person. And I think that that's a way stronger message than the message that people are saying that this is anti-male or anti.
I think the people that are saying that it's anti-male are more so like the anti-woke people.
Yeah.
That constantly post about it on social media, or like what's that guy's name? Tristan something.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Something Tate.
His name.
Something Tate.
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Andrew Tate.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, I think the Barbie movie is about empathy and being human, which kind of goes like, we didn't talk about this yet, but like Barbie, the decision that she makes at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I because I also wanted to mention like quick thing, like seeing Barbie in the real world. It was like weird to see her experience being like sexualized.
Yeah, right. Because
by men.
Construction worker.
And I like that moment where she's like, I feel like, what did she say to Ken when like Ken's like Ken's like liking how he's
he was saying, or what was it? She was saying something like, know what this feeling is. I'm feeling like conscious, but about myself, and like like getting to the fact that she's self-conscious. That's like something that I think that little girls experience like very early on, especially when you start going through puberty. Because like, before it's like, if you imagine Barbie Land as like your childhood, right? Where it's like, you're allowed to be like a little girl. You're allowed to do whatever. You are allowed to have magic and imagination and all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, once you have like middle school and all that, and like, different parts are growing and all that, and like people are judging you, it's just like, suddenly you're self-conscious about everything. You're like, are these stickers that I'm using too childish? Am I like, is my voice too high? And all this kind of stuff. So it's almost like Barbie going to the real world is kind of just like watching like a sped up version of a little girl growing up.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Oh, there's also a Houston Coley is a YouTuber that I watch, but he also like was talking about Barbie being like a metaphor for the Bible, which basically is like, if you guys don't know, the Garden of Eden. Sorry, we're just moving around for our dog.
Yeah, Jumba's like standing here. I don't know. I think he needs to go potty.
Oh, do we want to take a pause?
I mean, we can end it soon. We can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can finish your thought, Claire.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So there's Well, actually, no, I won't go too much into that. Okay. Y'all should just watch. You should just watch Houston Coley's video, because he is much more eloquent about religious stuff than I am. It's been a while since I've been involved in the Catholic the Catholic canon. I was gonna call it Catholic lore. That's not correct.
Catholic canon.
Catholic canon. But yeah, do you want to talk about Barbie going into the real world? Or Barbie's decision at the end. And then Ken.
Because throughout the movie, they had not throughout the movie, but they had moments of her meeting this older woman.
Yeah.
Who you later find out is a ghost of the actual person that created Barbie. She apparently lives in the Mattel office.
It's one of those things where don't think about it too hard. Yeah, don't think about it too hard.
But she basically is God, right?
Yeah.
Barbie decides she doesn't want to just be Barbie anymore. She wants to go out and discover herself. Mm-hmm. So she makes that decision to become real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I was very surprised by the end, and I didn't. So at the end of the movie, she gets dropped off by America Ferrera's character and their family, and I thought they were dropping off for work to go to work at Mattel.
Oh my god!
And then you find out she's actually there for an appointment for
her OBGYN. It's just okay. It's actually okay.
But it's a funny. It's also a funny joke because they do mention earlier in the movie, when Barbie and Ken first show up in the real world and they meet these construction dudes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Barbie says neither of them have reproductive organs.
It's just plastic.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very straightforward. But okay, I know it's played off as a joke at the end, but there is that's what I love about this movie is every joke has some kind of underlying meaning. And also this movie is just really cut very well. If this was a meal, all the fat was trimmed out, or it's if there was fat, there was a reason for it. And it's it's so good. But anyways, going back to that point, when she says I'm here for my OB-GYN appointment, it's solidifies I signed up to have have a reproductive organ. But the thing is that means she has periods. That means that she has the potential for pregnancy, which is not a fun thing. You have there's there's a reason why there's a specialty specifically for women. Aside from the fact that historically women have been overlooked in medicine and have not been treated the same way. But there's a lot of things that come into being a woman from the medical side that it's it's a symbol for she signed up for all of that is the thing. And she is engaging with it too. She's happily doing it too.
Yeah.
So the scene, because David and I watched this movie with my friend Melissa, and the thing is that Melissa and I both bawled our eyes out for the scene where oh no, what's her name? Ruth?
I think so.
Is it Ruth?
Yeah.
Yeah. When Ruth, the ghost, the Mattel god, she basically says before it's up to you, but I have to show you what this means. So it's she says, take my hands, biblical reference, the whole touching the finger thing. But she says, take my hands. And then she basically shows Barbie all of these images of these little girls at just playing. And it really just hit me hard personally because it reminds me how she's basically showing Barbie this is what it means to be a woman in the real world. Are you sure you want to do this? Because it's not easy being a woman in the real world. It's not just the Barbies at the beginning of the movie, they were just saying things oh, gosh, here's your Nobel Peace Prize. You worked so hard, you deserve it. Or, you deserve it. And she said, I know, I worked hard at it. Because it's it should be like that. You work hard for it, you get it. But in the real world, it doesn't work like that. Just because you work hard, especially if you're a woman, especially if you're a woman of color, just because you work hard doesn't mean that you actually get what you deserve. And it's you can't have that confidence. And, you could just watch America Ferrera's whole monologue about that to understand, it's not easy being a woman. And despite all of that, Barbie saying yes, that hits really, really hard.
Yeah.
Especially because, like, personally speaking, like, so for people who don't know, I'm a pediatrician or training to be like a child neurologist, and it's a very being a doctor right now is like a very male centered field. It's getting better, and especially like in pediatrics, there's a lot more women. But being a woman in medicine is so difficult because, especially like when you're short like me, a lot of like my attendings and mentors have like spoken about this, where it's just like, oh, like, yeah, your attendings are going to talk down to you, but like people are going to like not take your opinion seriously and all that, but you have to like really assert yourself and all that. And it's like it really does chip you down a lot to be in like a high level career, or just like anything, like life chips you down a lot. And it's like, despite knowing all that, are you sure you're still going to say yes to this? And for Barbie to say yes in that moment in the movie theater, I was just like, okay, I'm going to keep saying yes to the life that I signed up for. I mean, I could quit in theory. I do have a degree, and I guess I could just like quit, but
yeah,
you know that I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. After that moment, I think I said to Claire, like, so I am your Ken because you're Dr. Barbie.
Okay, go. we should talk about Ken before, like.
Well, one quick thing I wanted to say was also because Will Ferrell's in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed his character because he's the CEO of Mattel in the movie.
Yeah, interesting, because he was also CEO in Lego. The movie.
There's a fun theory like that I saw, and it's like, I know that there's no proof of it, but I just like this headcanon where it's just like, okay, so the CEO of Mattel is Will Ferrell. He's probably someone who really enjoys toys at some level. What if at home he goes at home and he's building Lego sets all the time? What's also interesting is, what if this guy loves toys so much because he grew up somewhere where he was raised to like make toys for children and all of that. Elf. What if he's Elf grown up? I forgot. Buddy, is that his name?
Yeah, Buddy.
Yeah, I totally forgot how that movie ended, so I don't know if all those things connect. But it's a very fun thing to think about.
It is a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just want to mention Will Ferrell just because he was a fun part of the movie as like the CEO.
And he was also not the villain.
At first you think he's the villain, but then you find out no, he's just trying to fix things and make things right.
He's just doing his best. He's like he has good intentions, but he's not fully educated, and that's okay.
Yeah.
He has good intentions.
I didn't really have much to say on Ken other than he is Knuff.
I have so much to say about Ken. You give Ken respect right now.
What?
We are not just gonna breeze by Ken. I know most of this movie most of this podcast was about Barbie, but
I mean, we did mention Ken, the Mojo Dojo Casa House,
but also don't forget Alan. Yeah.
Alan too. I like how Alan was like. He's like, all his clothes fit me. He's like, I'm Ken's best friend. All his clothes fit me.
So, a little bit of history behind that. The reason why Alan was discontinued is because the phrase, like, all his clothes fit me, implies that they're in a relationship together. And that, no, back in the 60s, 70s, whenever. But in any case, a lot of, or at least on Tumblr, my side of Tumblr where I'm at, people say that Alan is kind of like an icon for non-binary people, where he's like, I definitely don't fit in with the Barbies, but I'm also not a Ken. I'm kind of in between, but I'm just trying to exist is the thing. Yeah. So it wasn't like too heavy-handed, and it's like with the movie that has so much going on, I didn't think it had to be. But touching upon Ken, I really liked, or his resolution. Like for him to be Knuff, it just means a lot. And it's like, it's just so good. And I'm just really happy for Ryan Gosling, because like I worry about all ex-Mouseketeers. If you didn't know, Ryan Gosling was part of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse back in the 90s. So
with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears.
Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera as well.
Leonardo DiCaprio was kind of there. They had like a thing called Leo Week, but like it was very funny and so random. Was Ryan Reynolds there too?
No.
No?
No.
No, I am thinking of Ryan Gosling. Me being uncultured. But
they're both Canadian.
But like,
oddly enough,
with ex-child stars, I always worry about them because it's like you're asked to be performing all the time and you have to be a perfect way all the time. So it makes sense when like ex-child stars like want to just like cut themselves off from like definitely like the Mouse, definitely, or Nickelodeon, wherever they came from. And also it makes sense that he like blocked out that like joy of performing because it's been like kind of tainted. So it's like for him to kind of have this like reawoken in him, he's spoken in interviews how like his daughters actually helped remind him like how to enjoy this.
I remember in interviews he said that he took the role mainly because of his daughter.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And that's
but it's also like, you know, Ryan Gosling is like, he does a lot of serious roles, and to see him take this role where it's like very fun and
I hope he does more fun roles like that.
Yeah.
I guess one quick thing to mention about the Kens, I liked all the variations of the Kens.
Those are great.
I was not expecting to see John Cena.
Dude, as a mermaid, right?
Yeah,
that was great. Say hello, Barbie.
He's like, hi, Ken. He's like, he's just like in the water.
Yeah.
But what I also try, because David says that he's my Ken and all of that. But the thing is that like, but exactly, he's my Knuff. He's not just a Ken is the thing. And I try to like
I wouldn't mind just being a Ken.
But the reason why like I try to, he can say whatever he wants, but the reason why I like tell him he's more than just Ken is and this goes for like every guy out there, especially like guys who are with like like quote unquote successful women or like the woman is the breadwinner or whatever. It's like, no, it's not David. Barbie and Ken. It's Barbie and it's Ken. Everyone is their own person, and like you can be together and all of that, but it's not like one person is higher than the other. To say that like someone is just Ken is like, it's similar to saying like this, it's like almost similar as to like someone coming up to you and saying like, oh, this is your wife, not Dr. Garcia.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it's the reversal. Like,
right, because you're an individual.
Exactly.
And you still keep that.
But I understand the sentiment. It's just like you're there for me and supportive and sweet, and he's just being a wonderful fiance and all that sweet sappy. I can't cuss. Sweet sappy pudding.
You can swear. I'll edit it out.
Sweet sappy chocolate pudding.
But I guess
hey David,
I
guess she could say you're the whole meal, not just the snack.
Oh yeah. I guess so. That's an inside joke between me and Alex.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's not a podcast inside joke either.
I know, it's not.
You should make it one.
It is now.
I guess that's our review for Barbie. Yeah.
Honestly, let's wrap it up.
Highly recommend.
Please watch.
Yeah, highly recommend. And
I'm pretty sure it'll come to HBO Max soon, or Max now it's called.
Yeah, it's just Max. That rebranding.
I think it's definitely like a movie that's like a good movie to like show your kid, like the way that like you want to show, the way that you like get excited about showing me Indiana Jones and Star Wars, and I get excited like showing you Pride and Prejudice and Les Miserables. It's like one of those movies where it's just like you don't have to watch it as a kid, but you should watch it at some point in your life.
Definitely.
So
yeah,
cool.
So Alex, we're watching Pride and Prejudice.
I guess so.
Oh, invite me back for that episode.
Okay.
Pride and Prejudice is like every girl's like dream guy.
I feel like if anything, Alex, we should do a reaction video. Like we sit there and watch it together and record our reactions.
I would be so curious to see that, because it's like there are moments in that movie where like so the first time I watched it was with like 3 of my friends who are all sisters, and it's like they had already watched the movie. And it's like the way that guys get hyped up for sports is how much we get hyped up for Pride and Prejudice. Because they're like small, subtle, like moves and like play-by-plays where we're just like, we will literally pause it and be like, look at it. And we'll just be like completely hyped. I'd be curious if like you guys can figure out like what those moments are, and like if you guys do end up doing a podcast episode about it, then like I can definitely provide the female perspective for like why that hits women so hard.
Actually, I think what we could do is essentially film a podcast version of like a commentary.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, people who are watching with us, we're clicking play now. 3, 2, 1, click.
I like that.
And then just kind of watch through while also having a video on YouTube, kind of slightly edited down to get our reactions throughout the movie. Yeah, we could do that.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll let Claire go.
It's time for Jumba and Claire to pee.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess now that we were able to get through Barbie, we should quickly touch on Oppenheimer, unless you want to wait.
No, we could just run through it right now.
All right. Let me pull up my Oppenheimer notes.
Yes, me too.
All right.
I only decompressed a little bit. I was like, Oppenheimer.
2 totally different movies in one review.
Right? This is so great.
All right. So now I guess we'll review Oppenheimer. We both saw this movie a while ago, so the notes are not as fresh. But so
should be more fresh than Barbie.
True.
Right?
Okay, so the movie synopsis. During World War II, Lieutenant General Leslie Groves Jr. appoints physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer to work on the top-secret Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer and a team of scientists spend years developing and designing the atomic bomb. Their work comes to fruition on July 16th, 1945, as they witness the world's first nuclear explosion, forever changing the course of history.
The bomb in all wars.
I mean, that was the intention.
That was what everyone was told.
To a degree, it's worked with with countries that have nukes against each other.
I mean, technically it did, because after World War II, Congress never declared war. So therefore, every battle after World War II was never a war, just a battle. Technically.
I mean, I think it's more so technically it's not like, it's not like US against Russia.
Right, it's not World War either.
Yeah, I think it's more so it stopped wars against countries that they themselves have developed nuclear bombs.
Yeah,
because like right now,
power countries.
Yeah, because you see like Russia, they went into Ukraine.
Yeah,
there's a war there still, but I think it's more so with the superpowers. You don't see them going to war with each other. So to a degree, they're right.
I mean, also right now it's basically just like it's always been after that U.S. versus Russia. Yeah,
and now it's U.S. and China, a little bit.
China, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like U.S. and that side of the world.
Yeah.
Between was it Iran and China?
Yeah.
Is that it's just like
Yeah.
Back to the movie. I think it was really great storytelling overall.
Yeah. What I liked was that the story wasn't told in a typical like straightforward like beginning end.
Yeah, and it wasn't even in shorts either.
Yeah.
It was hopping around and it really made you think and concentrate.
Yeah.
And I know in it, I'm thinking, okay, wait, what year are we in? How do I know if this is after or before or during? Like how they use like, I guess I won't. It's a spoiler. Like technically, I would just say that they transition from like color to black and white to mean different like sequences that it was in. And I really like
I agree. The black and white was apparently they didn't use a filter for the black and white. Like they used an actual camera to shoot black and white. If I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, please someone let me know
in the comments.
Yeah. What I also noticed was there's a lot of people you need to pay attention to in the movie.
Oh yeah, I lost track and I was like, wait a minute, his name came up again.
Yeah, and this movie is, although I like the movie, but I will say it is long. Dude, it is a long
in that movie. I was checking my watch. It was like 2 hours in. I was like, okay, I got like what? I was like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, it's like after a while you feel the time.
Yeah, you do. But at the same time, it doesn't really have any like slow parts to it where you're like,
no,
they could just cut this out, or it's like,
yeah.
Can we just
I saw a post today.
Yeah.
Apparently it was on Facebook. I think it was from comicbook.com or something, but they posted that apparently Logan Paul walked out of Oppenheimer because he said, in his words, it's all just exposition. Nothing happens. All they do is talk. What did you expect from a movie called Oppenheimer?
It's a historical fact. Of course they would talk.
It's not like, it's not like he's escaping the government and blowing stuff up like with cars.
A CIA agent or FBI agent, or he's like getting intel from like abroad, you know?
Yeah.
That's just really funny.
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting to see historical, because they have, you see in the trailer like Einstein and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see historical figures of that time interacting with one another.
Yeah, so cool.
And seeing how, Oppenheimer himself was able to get this whole team together to essentially develop a bomb and in a race against time.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, he got the brightest minds around the country.
Yeah.
Kind of like Avengers.
Yes.
He assembled them.
Yes. Yes, but also to a degree.
It's like how ambitious was that for the time
it's very. Yeah, I was gonna say something, but it's kind of spoilers, so I won't mention it now.
Yeah.
But also,
I mean,
to me, it's some.
I like how spoilers, but yet it already happened.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's just not everyone knows what happened.
I know. It's just funny thinking about that. It's like, oh yeah, it happened like what 70 years ago.
Yeah, I think another thing for me was it felt in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dissing it. It felt like a History Channel film in the best way. Have you ever watched History Channel?
Oh yeah, I love History Channel.
Yeah,
I would go even a step further and say it was a high production History Channel film.
Yeah, no, I can imagine when they're shooting it, like during the clips, like when things happen, I can imagine they cut to like someone like a special, like some historian talking about like Oppenheimer was doing this, like
yeah, like a talking head.
Yeah, like a talking head. Yeah.
Like aliens out there, man.
Yeah. What's that show called again? Ancient Aliens, right?
Aliens, yeah.
My dad used to watch that show all the time.
I used to watch that show, and it's funny. In the beginning of the show, his hair was short, but then as the show progressed, it kept getting longer and longer.
And he let himself look kookier.
Yeah. I think the producers are like, "Hey, grow your hair and keep it up."
Yeah.
They're like, lean into that more. Kind of look like crazy Einstein.
Yeah. No, it makes me think of no, you know what it made me think of? Doc Brown.
If they were like, hey, Doc Brown, Einstein, go, crossover, cross it.
Yeah. Back to the movie. I also want to mention they had a lot of familiar actors.
Yeah, Josh Peck.
Yeah, Josh. Happy for him though, like
he only had what, 2 sentences?
Yeah, but he had
very important.
Yeah. He also had to act in some scenes, not just talk, like actually do things.
Hard.
Yeah. And they also had like I think his name is Josh Hartnett. Do you remember him? Do you remember the Pearl Harbor movie?
I've never watched it.
Because Josh Hartnett back in the 90s was like really big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he was like a big actor, and then he kind of just stepped away from it for a while. And to see him, I was like, oh, I know that guy. Like, there's a lot of actors in here where I was like, I've seen him from somewhere before.
Yeah, the main guy from The Boys.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, oh, Huey. Yeah. I was like, Huey's in here. Nice. All right. I like it.
Yeah, Jack Quaid. I had to think because his dad is Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his dad. So I didn't remember his name for a second. Yeah. There was other actors I recognized.
Yeah, I guess the guy who directed the first Thor.
Oh yeah. He plays like one of the scientists, like a Swedish scientist or something, right? Like
I think not Holland.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. But yeah, I think not Denmark, but Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Netherlands.
He played basically because he's like a well-renowned physicist or something. I can't remember exactly what science field it was.
I think it was
but he played like so he played a well-renowned physicist, right? Who his protege is basically trying to help Germany develop the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
So that was like an interesting like conflict because not only is his protege trying to help the Nazis, but he himself, Kenneth Branagh's character, is Jewish.
Yeah. So it's like
so that was an interesting to like, to find out or like to learn. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the movie. It's long.
It is long, but I think it's worth it because, if you like that history, the History Channel and those kind of documentaries, you're going to love this because you're going to sit there and be like, wow, actually, wait, I have to pee now. Let me pause this, pee, come back to it. You're not going to feel like, oh, this is really long. It's taking too long. When is it going to end? Can I do something else? Or go on your phone in between? No, you're going to sit there because it's really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so if you were to rate it, what would you give it?
Give it a 9, like Barbie.
I think I'd give it an 8.5. I think it's just more so because I had so much more fun with the Barbie movie.
Barbie movie was really fun.
I think for me, it's just Oppenheimer's so long. I ended up leaving to go use the restroom.
I held that. I was like, no, I could do it.
I couldn't hold it. I felt like it was gonna burst, so I had to go.
I did. Don't drink water beforehand.
Oh yeah.
No,
I was like drinking soda and stuff.
I know you were.
Yeah.
I bet you got specialty drink.
But I would give it a 8.5. Like it's a high 8.5.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. I the only critique I would have is I do feel kind of wish the story was a bit more concise, where it like not as long in the sense like because I do feel like maybe there were some scenes they could have cut down a little bit to save some time
because they really want to just like pack it in. Because how do you tell something that happened, throughout years of history?
No, I get it too. It's just that's the one thing because I had to leave to go pee.
This versus Barbie, it's totally separate movies, totally separate reasons on why you want to watch them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's our ratings. Do you want to go into spoilers really quick?
Let's go into spoilers. Spoiler warning: if you have not seen the movie, pause it.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to listen to spoilers, enjoy.
Yeah. First thing I wanted to mention, at least from my end, the sex scenes felt very awkward. It made me feel very uncomfortable.
It did for me, but then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll see where this is going. I didn't really understand why he needed to be in there, but that part where why when he's being like kind of interrogated, but and then his wife forgot the actress's name.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. I don't know. Yeah. So when Emily Blunt was imagining, when she was finding out of his affair again and imagining that, chick naked on him, I was like, okay, I get that scene. I get that's how she's feeling. It's bringing back emotions, and she wasn't expecting that to be brought up there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it just made me go like, it just feels weird.
Yeah, especially
with the book moment So Oppenheimer, from my understanding, based on how the movie portrays him, he had a lot of infidelities.
Oh yeah, I was surprised.
And and so one of them was with Florence Pugh's character, and there's a scene where they're having sex. She gets off of him, grabs one of his books, and makes him read it while she straddles him again and gets on top. And I'm like, this is weird.
But I mean, I guess in Oppenheimer's defense, he wasn't able to maintain the erection.
Oh, that's true.
So,
that's true.
So I also way to maintain one, but hey, it worked out for him.
Also, Florence Pugh's character, I feel like the whole relationship was just toxic.
Oh yeah, because it's like, I don't want a rose. I was like, why?
You're like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but what's gonna happen now that you're gonna get married? Like, what does that mean for us? Does that mean you're not gonna see me anymore?
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what do you like? You said you don't want flowers, so what do you want out of this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you don't want a relationship. What do you want out of this? And it just, my thing was like, Oppenheimer is a simp. For her.
She usually live first.
Yeah. But also his marriage with Emily Blunt's character was also not that healthy. No. She's a strong character.
Oh, she is, definitely. And I mean,
but she's also a bit of an alcoholic.
Yeah, she did not want to have kids, it seemed like, either.
Yeah, it felt like the kids were kind of just an accident, and she just dealt with it.
I felt like the first kid was on purpose to trap him.
Yeah.
And then the second kid just came out just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just happens like that.
Yeah. Was there anything you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I also wanted to kind of like transition over to like Albert Einstein. It was more than just a cameo. I thought it was just be a cameo, but no, he had a lot of speaking parts in there more than I thought. And the actor portraying him did a really good job. He looked like Albert Einstein.
Yeah, I liked that they not only showed Albert Einstein, but they showed him in two different points in Oppenheimer's life.
Yeah.
Because the first time you really see Einstein is when Oppenheimer's already developed the bomb and everything. Like it's the bomb is said and done. It's been popped off, and now Oppenheimer is moving into like this house or something for people that are creative or something, like some government.
It's a government
housing
program.
Yeah,
that they're doing, and Oppenheimer decided to join it.
Yeah, and he runs
his character.
Yeah, named Louis Strauss.
Yeah, Strauss.
Yeah, and you meet Einstein there for the first time, and you don't know what so Oppenheimer comes up to Einstein, they talk, you don't know what they're saying at all, and he just kind of leaves. And then you kind of see a flashback later of when they were developing the bomb. Oppenheimer comes to Einstein because he needs help figuring out a formula.
Yeah.
Right? And then
help figuring out if they detonate this bomb, are they going to ignite the atmosphere?
That was the thing that they're worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then afterwards, what I do like is you do find out what Einstein had said.
Yeah. Right.
No, you see Einstein three times in his life. Because remember when the car leaves at night at their.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
See, that's a lot of Einstein in there, which is interesting because Einstein himself wasn't on the project because he didn't want to be on the project.
Yeah.
He just wanted to send the letter and he was like, "Hey, alert the U.S. Government and just be like, I'm not going to help you guys."
Yeah, because I think for me, the way I took it was Einstein didn't want that on his conscience.
Right.
With the bomb, and sadly, Oppenheimer I think kind of has that because I remember learning later, the guy that was working for Germany trying to develop the nuclear bomb. Because I also found it interesting when they find out like how far Germany was with developing the bomb.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, they went the wrong way.
Right, they were like, this is more of a nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, because they themselves didn't want Hitler to have a bomb. They knew the consequences and the implications of Hitler having a nuclear weapon. So they're like, okay, we got to stall him as long as possible.
Yeah. And so the guy that on Germany's side, he ended up getting Nobel Prizes for other things. Really? I can't remember exactly what. Yeah, after the war, he got Nobel Prizes. And you see Oppenheimer, like he's just known as what's the word they gave him? The
father of the atomic bomb?
Yeah, the father of the atomic bomb. Yeah.
I mean, I guess there goes to show you that, if you're trying to win something and you feel like you're the good guy, you're gonna, it's not always good, the outcome.
Yeah.
Because Germany, they were like, oh, we're trying to win, but to the rest of the world, they look like the bad guy, but to them, they don't. But then the German scientists were like,
it's also a weird thing because obviously like Japan, for example, they despise the bomb because of what happened.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people are saying like, oh, you didn't have to drop the bomb. Mm-hmm. But if you look into the reason why they decided to drop it, I think it's kind of like weighing the better evils.
Yeah, I mean, there's no good outcome.
Because either you drop the bomb or you do a full-scale island invasion of Japan. And in doing so, Russia joins. And the worry was that you would split Japan in two, like they had already did with Germany.
Yeah.
And how they already did with how it turns out with like North Korea.
Yeah.
Right? Or like yeah. So that was their worry. Mm-hmm. And another thing is like at the time, I mean, this is more so just reading based on my understanding from like history, documentaries and stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the time, a lot of people in Japan were very radical in the sense of because they believed their emperor was basically someone that was a god. You can't look at the emperor, like no one really knew what he looked like or how tall he was, kind of thing. So you had this island full of people that are fully willing to sacrifice themselves for their country.
And also, as an emperor, you gotta there's a high chance that you will be assassinated if you're like, oh wait, maybe I should stop. So in that time, it was hard to know who was actually pulling the strings, who was saying the command, who was gonna wanting to keep going. No one really knew.
Yeah, and so I feel like in the end, at least, I mean, the devastation is horrible.
It is.
From what happened from the bomb, but at the same time, it's understandable why they decided to drop the bomb.
Yeah.
Based on like what could have happened.
Yeah. Because when you're like that, if you're a country with a power like the atomic bomb, you want to do everything you can for your people because you're at war.
I guess another thing we can mention is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, getting back to the movie, is he's kind of to a degree the villain of the film.
Well, he's trying to be. I mean, because he's got a backstory in there because Oppenheimer humiliated him really badly.
It was like during
one of the testimonies.
Testimonies during the testimony.
Yeah, for like export of uranium, was it?
I think so.
Yeah. And he thinks he turned Einstein against him.
Yeah, and because he sees Oppenheimer go talk to Einstein, and then Einstein just kind of walks past him and just doesn't even say anything to Strauss.
With mood on his face.
Yeah, so he thinks that he said something.
Yeah,
but in reality, we find out later he said nothing. Like nothing about Strauss.
No, yeah,
he basically just said to Oppenheimer like, be prepared to be seen as the bad guy.
Yeah, and then when Einstein was walking away, he was like, you know that thing, the calculations about setting the world afire. I think we did that. And Einstein was like, oh shit.
Yeah, but yeah, also to find out how much like Strauss like really try to play the game, dude, you know, of politics. Right? Yeah.
He was winning, but
until his assistant or something found out the truth.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit.
But yeah, I mean that's all I really had to say on Oppenheimer. How about you?
Yeah, no, I guess we could just leave it with that, with Strauss's character. It goes to show you, like, you know, it doesn't, you can get in your own head, and really being self-centered can be destructive without, you know, really looking at the variables and just like being more open and not being like, oh, he's out to get me. In reality, he's not.
Yeah, Oppenheimer could care less.
He could. He was like, you're not on my radar, man.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, yeah, that actually happens, though. People get in their head and are like, oh, well, I have to destroy him before he keeps destroying me and my life. But in reality, no one's doing that. It's all in your head.
Yeah, so for me, it was interesting when he sees like President Truman.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know who played Truman?
No.
Gary Oldman.
Oh, he did look familiar.
Because I like instantly when I saw him, I was like, Gary Oldman.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was like, he's looking familiar. I don't know who the actor is. I didn't look it up, but man, that's really cool.
I didn't look it up either. I just saw him. I was like, oh, it's Gary Oldman. Yeah. I think it's, you know, because we've seen him in like Batman and seen him in other movies without the mustache. But I felt bad because, like, you know, when Oppenheimer says to Truman, he's like, I feel like I have blood on my hands.
Yeah.
And then Truman's like, I'm the one that greenlit the bomb.
Yeah, executed the orders.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, like Oppenheimer, like I get why he's down. Like I get why a lot of the scientists, like they celebrated when it first exploded. But then once they found out like the number of deaths.
Yeah. It's like inadvertently they are at fault. Like that's on them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so
that's the thing with, you know, when you're at war, anything goes, really. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, again, not saying that I think the bomb was great or everything. But Japan did technically kind of start the war.
I mean, yeah, Japan and Germany. Which is weird, separately, yeah.
Well, because originally, so my understanding was, you know, Germany was already kind of in World War, like starting a war with Europe.
Already taking over.
And like, Japan, because all these other countries like England, France, they were kind of like busy dealing with Germany.
Yeah.
Japan decided to take over Asia because they at least believed Asia belongs to Asians, specifically Japanese.
And so they saw an opportunity and was like, "Oh, we're gonna, you know."
And one of the islands they wanted was the Philippines, which at the time was owned. You had like U.S. Navy ships there. Like the U.S. was kind of, I think the U.S. owned the Philippines at the time.
Yeah. I
so,
think so
to their thinking to avoid war was to attack Pearl Harbor because that's where all like the Navy ships were. Oh. They believed if we attack the Navy ships, the U.S. is going to take a long time to get ready.
Yeah.
To attack to start a war with us, and by then we would have taken over all of Asia.
Right.
The thing that happened though was when they attacked Pearl Harbor, not all the warships were there. A lot of them were actually out somewhere else.
That's hilarious.
And some of the warships that they bombed ended up not being fully destroyed, and they were able to repair them. In thinking that they would cripple the U.S., they woke up a sleeping giant because the U.S. at the time did not want to go to war with anyone. They were just kind of like trying to keep to themselves.
Yeah, because they're like, well, this is not implementing us personally. This is not our war. We're going to stay out of it. And also, I think it was election year too, right? So
yeah.
It's like, oh, if you start this war, you're not going to be reelected, or your party won't be reelected either.
The whole situation, like with the war, you know, it was interesting to see it play out in the film. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like we had mentioned, I think yeah, even after this conversation, I still land on an 8.5.
Yeah, I land a 9 still. It's one of those movies where you kind of want to go back and rewatch it again and see the parts you've missed and just pay more attention because you know the characters now. You know which ones to pay attention to, and you're like, oh, okay, I remember him.
Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to mention.
Cool. This has been our Barbenheimer review.
Yeah. If you we should probably end with, like, follow us. If you like our podcast, subscribe to. We're on every podcast format, right?
Pretty much.
We're on Spotify, Apple,
Google Podcast, Apple, yeah. So really, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there. We've changed our name now to
B-roll thoughts.
Yeah.
Which we will change on our socials and on YouTube.
Yes, and our website.
Yeah.
And our website is brollthoughts.com.
Yeah.
Cool.
Our next review probably won't be anytime. Maybe next week. We'll see.
Probably next
our next review, will be Blue Beetle, which I've seen already. I really enjoyed the movie.
I have not. I've yet to see it, but I'm excited.
You should see it, Alex. I think you would like it.
I mean, I'm going to see it. I'm going to review it.
You and Nathan.
Yes, we will see it because we are half Hispanic.
That is the only driving factor.
It kind of is. Represent.
Yeah. But yeah. I guess. I don't know what to say after this. This is
just end it.
Yeah.
This is the way we're just fade out.